Premier Media's Mining Weekly Online is speaking to Nico Muller, the CEO of Impala Platinum. Nico, there's a big restructuring taking place. Implats is involved at Rustenburg in the northwest, the Impala Rustenburg. It has major implications for South Africa, but you have no other option but to go down and make sure there's no loss making in that particular structure. How well is it going? What is your liaison with the state like? What is your liaison with the regulators like, the unions and the community?
Martin, yes, we are very excited about the future of Rustenburg, but in a different form. Impala Rustenburg has been in loss-making mode for the last number of years, and it is just escalating. So, as a company, we are with the backs against the wall, and we are forced into a restructuring. And the idea is to center Rustenburg around its best assets and to reduce costs from 29,000 to 24,500 Rand per platinum ounce. In that mode, there's a long-term prosperity for the operation and for all of its stakeholders. So it is important that we put that message across to government, that it's not so much focused on the cutting of jobs. Our intention is to create a vibrant, long-term, sustainable business that can continue contributing to the social upliftment of our communities. And in that process, given the sustained depressed commodity prices, we have to make changes. So we are collaborating with government very intensely so, and in particular with the DG and the task team that has been set up by government. So notwithstanding the public announcements, behind the scenes we have a very strong collaboration with government. We see the DG and his team frequently, and they are very supportive and guiding us in terms of all the possible solutions that we can possibly look at. And whilst they don't want to be interfering and directing us, they are supportive, and they are exposing us to options in addition to what we have developed ourselves so far. Also importantly, the Bafokeng, our host communities, they are important to us. So we have set up engagements with Khosi and his team, and we will continue to advance our discussions with them, because it's not only about the 13,000 job opportunities that we are talking about, it's also the social impact and the economic impact in the broader Rustenburg area. Because of course it's not only us, it is also Lonmin, which is an adjacent jurisdiction, but it influences the broader northwest region. So we're very sensitive to that, and we look forward to continually engaging. I think what would be a win-win for everyone is if there are commercial opportunities that emerge from this process, where perhaps smaller, lower-cost operators could come to the fore and agree to buy the properties over from us, and in that way they can continue to operate and can continue contributing towards the local economic development and employment within the industry.
But the strategy will really save 27,000 jobs. If you didn't take this action, those 27,000 jobs would be lost.
I think that's a very important point that you're making. It is protecting 27,000 jobs. It is protecting future contributions to social investment in the area. It is protecting future contribution towards economic development, towards future contribution as an industry towards the GDP of the country. So that's the way we look at it. It's really important to create a vehicle that will, even under the current economic circumstances, generate profits in order to justify its position as a going concern, and in that way to contribute in many fronts in the region and in the country.
And although the spotlight is on Impala Rustenburg, there are many other parts to Implats. Can you tell us about the situation at Two Rivers and also the turnaround at Marula?
Martin, in our portfolio we've got a broad range of companies, and three of them, which includes Two Rivers, Mimosa and Implats, they are all top-tier assets. They operate at the first quartile of the cost curve, and we are very, very proud of them. So it has been Marula and Rustenburg that has created the weakness in the team, and we were confronted with a desperate situation at Marula, which has been perpetually loss-making, and we put it on watch. We were very open and honest to our management at Marula, the communities, the DMR, And we were so pleasantly surprised with the turnaround that we've experienced in at that operation. I mean, Mukhali, the manager there, and his team, with the support of Johan and Gerard at corporate office, it's just an unbelievable turnaround. 25% increase in platinum in concentrate produced during the last year. They have gone from an 837 million loss before capital and finance expenses to a 77 million contribution to group this year. And that's a remarkable story. They are, of course, very well positioned to leverage off the improved palladium and rhodium prices, because they have a stronger bias towards those associated metals within the PGM stable. So we are very, very proud of what they have been able to achieve and see a bright future for Marula.
And Two Rivers is also quite a promising situation. It will go through a period of perhaps not optimum production, but it is still a very good asset.
It's a first tier asset, Martin. It's always been a very robust generator of cash proceeds for the company. Yes, they are dealing with the split reef, but of course, very importantly, we were able to add the Kalkfontein RE portion to the mineral reserves, and that of course provides access to the whole Kalkfontein. So that provides a massive extension to that mine, and we have got no reason to believe that their economic performance will decline. We are very committed to Two Rivers and very proud to be associated with our partner African Rainbow Minerals on that asset.
And you're also committed to going into less cost-intensive assets, and you have got a toehold now in the Waterberg.
So we came out a year ago and we stated publicly our intentions, and one was that we will not support loss-making ounces, and we have taken bold decisions at Marula and at Rustenburg to signal our intention and to give credence to the position that we've taken. And the other position that we have taken is that we have to rebalance the portfolio. Within the current economic conditions, your performance as a company is not only how well you do on your existing assets, but it is very important that you develop long-range plans to develop assets that will operate at the lower end of the cost curve. And to that extent, the investment of $30 million in the 15% interest in Waterberg represents a strategic step in that direction for us. It is a very shallow asset that lends itself towards bulk mechanized mining methods, and we believe that when it comes to fruition, that it will operate at a very low position on the cost curve. So strategically very important for us.
And you're doing well at Implats. Your relationship with the government seems to be sound in the post-election era in Implats. And tell us about the asset region you had to give back to the government, or you had to cede some of your area there. And does that affect your operations in Zimbabwe?
Thanks, Martin. You know, in Zimbabwe, we are very excited. They had the elections in November, and the president came out and declared Zimbabwe open for business. And whilst I think the policy formulation still has to follow those statements, it has been a remarkable improvement in relationship between ourselves, Implats, and the government. I recently had an opportunity to with Alex, our chief executive at Implats, to hand over the refurbished Kadoma Regional Hospital, and that was attended by the president and 5 of his ministers. And so we spent the entire day together plotting out the future and agreeing to combine the company with the efforts of the Zimbabwean government to grow the local economy. So we are very excited about that. So part of that was the release of ground beyond Portal 10, but we have got now no immediate plans to develop that. So we don't have any claim to that, and we were very happy for the government to allow new entrants to potentially explore that. You know, we've seen announcements of a $4 billion investment coming, but we do understand that there is significant barriers to entry. So we don't necessarily expect a significant investment in platinum extraction in the short term, and to the extent that there is any development on that, we will collaborate with those players, because of course there is processing capacity that's required for any assets that are developed. But what it has done is given us a position to increase the ability of Implats to financially contribute to the company in the changes between the special mining lease and the mining lease that has had a very favorable impact on the overall tax regime that will see us reducing Zimbabwe's tax rate effectively from high 60s to below 30 and 35. So that creates a much stronger economic vehicle of Zimbabwe, and its ability to contribute to the group is just infinitely strengthened in that process. So our mandate to Alex in Zimbabwe is to seek out all other opportunities. We are very eager to explore options to develop very strong business linkages with the supply chain and to evaluate other opportunities which predominantly will be PGM related, but to be quite honest, even to the extent that it diversifies slightly out of the existing PGM portfolio, it is something that we will, to the extent that it adds value to the company, that we will pursue. And the reason for that is that the success of our business in Zimbabwe is related to the economic development of Zimbabwe. And we don't believe that we can be successful by just growing the size of our fish in the small pond. We have to assist the government to grow the size of the pond in which we operate, to reduce the reliance on our forex earnings and to distribute that across a broader economic front.
And although we look at the platinum price being down all the time and we get depressed, if we look at the basket price, sometimes you get a better view. What is the outlook now, do you think, for this industry?
So let's just talk about that. I mean, the platinum price has gone down to below $900 an ounce. In fact, it breached $800 an ounce recently, but that's on the back of a significant deterioration in the rand-dollar exchange rate. At the same time, we have seen robust performance in particularly palladium, rhodium and nickel pricing. So as a basket price, which is the way we earn our revenue, we've actually seen a favorable support for the basket price. I mean, in 2018, the financial year, our average basket price achieved was 25,935 Rand per platinum ounce. In recent weeks, the basket price at Impala Rustenburg improved to 27,800 Rand per platinum ounce, and they have a strong bias towards platinum. In other operations, like in Zimbabwe and the more palladium biased Marula, we have seen the basket price improve to over 30,000 Rand per platinum ounce. So it has been a very exciting period, and it has given us a strong tailwind going into the financial 2019 year.
And when you say in Zimbabwe you might move slightly out of PGMs, what would you move into?
So let me just say, the intention is not to diversify per se. We are looking at opportunities to support the government in growing the local economy. If there were value accretive opportunities, it would make sense if they were related to the automotive industry, because that is a market that we study and that we know, or if they are related to metals that are associated with PGMs. So as an example, chrome. We have got chrome in our current business. If there is a chrome opportunity in Zimbabwe that we believe will assist the government to grow the economy, it is something that we at least will look at.